All right, ready to dive into a mystery?
Always. Lay it on me.
Today, it's Atlantis, the lost city.
Ah, yeah, the one that supposedly vanished. Beneath the waves.
Technologically advanced, sunken cities,
Hmm.
ancient maps. We've even got whispers about Antarctica. It's a story that stuck around,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's definitely a popular one. And for this deep dive, we've got a really cool source. A Chinese language video.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. We went through it all. No language barrier for us.
Yeah.
Sifted through it and pulled out all the interesting stuff.
Sounds like a real challenge, getting all those details.
Well, some of them are pretty wild. I mean, are you ready to try to figure out what's fact and what's fiction?
Oh, absolutely. Always up for a good mystery.
So let's start at the very beginning. Plato. He's the one who first wrote about Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
Ancient Greek philosopher.
Yeah, that's right. It was around 360 BC when he wrote about it. Described this amazing island kingdom, Atlantis. And it was supposedly way before his time, like thousands of years.
So what was it like, this Atlantis?
Powerful, advanced. Picture this. Islands, all in a circle, a giant city. And technology, stuff we can't even imagine.
Okay, so they had it all. What went wrong?
Well, they got a little too ambitious. They decided to attack Athens.
What happened?
It backfired. Big time. Plato says there was a huge disaster, earthquakes, floods, the whole island gone in just one day.
Wow. Just like that.
Yep, just like that. It's a story that sent people on crazy expeditions, right? And captured the imagination of all kinds of people. Historians, archaeologists, you name it.
Oh, I bet. Especially those conspiracy theorists.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But even way back then, in Plato's time, people weren't even sure what to make of the story.
Really? You mean they didn't believe it?
It wasn't so simple. You see, this video we're looking at, it points out two different ways people interpreted it, even back then.
Okay, I'm listening.
One group saw it as a warning, like, don't get too corrupt, don't get too powerful, or this is what could happen, you know.
A reminder to stay humble.
Exactly the other interpretation. Well, they thought it was basically propaganda, Athenian propaganda,
Interesting.
you know. To make Athens look strong and virtuous, the underdog wins. Always a good story.
It's like an ancient Greek superhero movie.
Uh-huh, pretty much.
But let's move on. What about the theories of where Atlantis could have been?
Ah, yes. Where was this legendary city?
The source we're looking at, it's got some interesting ideas. From sunken cities right off the coast of Morocco, all the way to, wait for it, Atlantis as Antarctica.
The range of theories is incredible. Want to start with the sunken city idea?
I'm in. Underwater adventures,
Yeah.
even if it's just through Google Maps. So what is this theory all about?
Well, there are these images, right? They show a grid pattern on the seabed near Morocco. You can see it on Google Maps.
A grid, like streets.
Exactly. Some people think that's what it is. Remnants of a city,
Right.
walls, streets all underwater now.
Wow, an underwater city.
The video even compares it to the Mercedes-Benz logo. Pretty creative, right?
That's hilarious. I can kind of see it, but come on. Is that really evidence?
Well, that's the thing. The ocean is huge EE, and there are natural formations all over the place. Just because it looks like a car logo doesn't make it a city.
True. My brain does that sometimes, seeing patterns where they aren't.
It's easy to do, but we got to be skeptical, and we need to understand how things work in nature too, geology and all that.
All right, so maybe not Morocco's seabed. What about the desert, though? The video talks about this theory that Atlantis was moved inland by an earthquake.
Oh yeah, Atlantis on the move. A German IT specialist came up with this. He made a program, a software thing, and it showed that if Atlantis was off the coast of Morocco, well, a big enough earthquake could have moved it.
Wait, really? Moved the whole city?
That's the theory. And his calculations, they pointed to this plane, the Susmassa plane, like that's where it ended up.
To get this, in 2015, they found this ancient alloy there, in that plane. Doesn't that kind of prove it?
Hold on. It's not that simple. Finding an old alloy is interesting, sure, but it doesn't mean it's automatically from Atlantis. We need more research, more analysis. One discovery doesn't mean, hey, we found Atlantis.
Right, right. Okay, so no Atlantis in Morocco yet. But this next theory, this is where it gets really wild. Atlantis is Antarctica.
Yep, that's a popular one. The video mentions this map, the Piri Reis map. It's from Turkey from the 1500s, and it shows Antarctica. But Antarctica wasn't discovered until way later.
So how do they know about it?
That's the mystery. And to make it even more interesting, they found fossils in Antarctica, fossils from a warmer climate. So maybe it was a paradise once, like Atlantis is described. But there's a problem, a big one.
What's that?
The timeline. When the poles shifted and Antarctica froze over, that was millions of years ago, way before humans were around.
Oh, so much for that theory then.
Well, not so fast. The video goes on. They talk about these pyramid-shaped mountains in Antarctica, discovered in 2012.
Pyramids, like in Egypt.
Yeah, that's what some people thought. Maybe there's a civilization under the ice. Or maybe aliens. Suddenly, Antarctica is more exciting than just penguins, right?
It does sound exciting, but come on, those mountains, don't they form naturally?
They can. That's the thing. We need real evidence, not just speculation.
So where does that leave us? Morocco? Antarctica? Or was Atlantis all in Plato's head?
That's the beauty of a mystery. So much room for interpretation. But before we get too carried away with all these theories, we got to consider the other side too.
You mean the people who don't believe in Atlantis?
Exactly. The skeptics, the video mentions them too. Their main point, no real evidence, archaeological evidence. And maybe, just maybe, Plato made the whole thing up, an allegory.
Like a fictional story with a deeper meaning.
Right. And they bring up this idea, Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually the best. Maybe Atlantis is just a story, a really good story, but still a story.
Okay, so we've got skeptics, we've got believers, but wait, there's one more theory in the video. And it's a doozy.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
What if Atlantis was actually a virtual world, like a computer simulation?
Yeah.
And it got deleted because it was too advanced.
Whoa! The simulated reality theory. Now that's thinking outside the box. It fits with how much we love technology today, doesn't it?
Imagine a whole civilization gone, just like deleting a file.
Makes you wonder about reality itself, doesn't it?
So after all that, do you think Atlantis was real?
Well, the evidence. It's definitely open to interpretation. But whether it's real or not, the story's fascinating, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's not just about finding a lost city. It's about the search itself, what it tells us about ourselves, our curiosity, what we don't know.
It makes you wonder, if Atlantis did exist, what happened to them? What can we learn from them?
Wow, those are some deep questions.
Hmm.
But for now, we'll have to leave it there.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. Plato, sunken cities, Antarctica, even deleted virtual worlds.
And we're just getting started. We've got more theories to explore, more clues to uncover.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive. Who knows what we'll find next? You know, it's funny how the Atlantis story always makes them out to be super advanced, but also kind of corrupt. Like, they had all this amazing tech, but...
They let it go to their heads?
Yeah, something like that. They had it all, right? The gadgets, the gizmos, even Orichalcum.
Orichalcum? What's that?
It was this metal, supposedly more valuable than gold. They talk about it a lot in the video.
Sounds fancy. So they were like the Silicon Valley of their time.
Exactly, except maybe with less venture capitalists and more, well, more arrogance.
And their downfall was their own success.
That's the classic cautionary tale, isn't it? Unchecked ambition, technology without ethics. Makes you think, are WE on that path too?
Good question. But let's get back to the evidence, or should I say the lack of evidence. All these theories, but still no proof that Atlantis actually existed.
It's like searching for a tiny little thing in a massive, huge...
Haystack.
Yeah, a haystack the size of the ocean floor.
That's a big haystack.
And that's where the debate gets heated. Believers versus skeptics. Take that grid pattern off Morocco, for example. Some see a city, others see...
Rocks.
Pretty much natural formation. It's like those optical illusions, you know, where you see one thing and then...
It changes. Yeah, I know those.
Our minds can play tricks on us, especially when it comes to mysteries. We want to believe.
I know. It would be so cool if those grid lines were streets made of orichalcum, leading to some underwater palace.
Wouldn't it? But we got to stay grounded. Wishful thinking isn't evidence.
Right. We talked about that before. Critical thinking. What about the Moroccan desert theory?
Ah, yes. Atlantis moving inland. It's an interesting idea. Finding that ancient alloy, it definitely adds fuel to the fire.
It does show they were good with metal, right?
Yeah, more advanced than we might think. But again, it's not conclusive. We need more information.
More pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Seems like that's the theme here. We get these hints, these clues, but no definitive proof.
That's the thing about history. Sometimes it's more about interpretation than hard facts.
So how do we explain that? Why are we still so obsessed with Atlantis if we don't even know if it was real?
I think it's the mystery, isn't it? The unknown. We're drawn to lost worlds, ancient civilizations.
We want to believe there was something amazing before us.
Exactly. Atlantis, it's a symbol of that. What if they were more advanced than us? What secrets did they have? It makes us think about our own potential and our own fears, too.
Like, what if our civilization collapses one day? just like Atlantis.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of a good story. Plato's account of Atlantis is so vivid, so compelling, it's stuck with us for centuries.
It's like the original blockbuster movie.
Uh-huh, kind of. But it goes deeper than that. It's about myth, about how we try to understand the world.
So are we just chasing shadows then? With these maps, alloys, pyramids? Is it all just a dead end?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's always worth exploring, even if it leads to more questions than answers. The journey itself can be valuable.
Okay, I like that. So let's talk about that Piri Reis map. The one that shows Antarctica way before it was supposed to be discovered. That's got to be some kind of proof, right?
It's definitely interesting. The level of detail. It's impressive for a map from that time.
But it also shows Antarctica connected to South America. And that doesn't fit with how the continents are supposed to have moved, right?
That's the problem. Some say the map makers had access to older knowledge, maybe even ancient maps.
Wow, like some secret library of lost knowledge?
Maybe. But others think it was just a mistake, a misinterpretation.
So they could have been working with bad information and just accidentally drew Antarctica like that.
It's possible. Remember, maps back then weren't always accurate. They were based on observations, rumors, guesswork.
Okay, so the map might not be the answer we were hoping for? What about those pyramid-shaped mountains then? The ones in Antarctica? Those sounded pretty convincing.
I know they do catch the eye, don't they? But we have to remember, nature can create some pretty amazing things.
So those mountains in Antarctica, they're not really pyramids, are they?
Probably not. It's easy to see why people make that connection, though. Pyramid shapes, ancient civilizations. It all fits together, right?
Yeah, it's a cool idea. But you're saying it's more likely that...
Erosion. Wind and ice can carve rocks into all sorts of crazy shapes over time. It's pretty amazing, actually.
So no hidden civilization under the ice.
We can't rule it out completely, of course. But we need more than just a shape to go on. We need real evidence. Artifacts, ruins, something concrete.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's go back to the Moroccan desert for a minute. That ancient alloy they found there, that was a pretty big deal, right?
It's definitely significant. Finding something that advanced in that region from that time period, it tells us they knew their stuff when it came to metalworking.
So maybe they weren't as primitive as we thought.
Exactly. But does it prove they were Atlanteans? Not necessarily. We need more context, more research.
It's like always, it's just a piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture.
Right. And that seems to be the theme with Atlantis, doesn't it? Lots of intriguing hints, but nothing definitive.
It's kind of frustrating, but also kind of exciting, you know?
I know what you mean. It's like we're constantly on the verge of a breakthrough, but it always stays just out of reach.
So what do? Just keep searching?
I think so. The search itself is valuable, even if we never find Atlantis. It teaches us about our past, about our planet. It pushes us to ask questions, to explore.
It reminds us that there's still so much out there that we don't know.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, one day, someone will find that missing piece of the puzzle, that undeniable proof that Atlantis was real.
Until then, we'll just have to keep speculating.
And keep an open mind.
Well said. So I guess the lesson here is that the Atlantis myth, it's more about the journey than the destination.
I like that. It's about our fascination with the unknown, our desire to connect with the past.
And our never-ending search for answers.
Exactly. And even if Atlantis turns out to be nothing more than a story, it's a story that has inspired us for centuries. And that's pretty powerful in itself.
I agree. Well, on that night, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. For now, anyway.
Until the next mystery.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to finally solve the mystery of Atlantis. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that sense of wonder alive.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll see you in Atlantis.